Imagine a time when soldiers relied on simple handheld weapons and slow-moving cannons to win battles. Fast forward to today, and we have artillery systems that can fire long-range, precision-guided munitions with deadly accuracy. How do we get from those early cannons to the powerful, high-tech artillery pieces we see today? The journey is filled with breakthroughs, unexpected twists, and technological marvels. Let's dive into the evolution of artillery and discover its fascinating transformation. The evolution of artillery traces its roots back to ancient times, with the Chinese being the first to experiment with gunpowder. As early as the 9th century, they began using gunpowder in rudimentary weapons like fire lances and rocket-propelled projectiles. By the 12th century, the first true artillery pieces, simple cannons, emerged. These early designs were made from metal or wooden tubes filled with gunpowder and used to fire stone or metal projectiles during sieges. The Chinese discovery of gunpowder laid the foundation for artillery's role in warfare, but it wasn't until Europe adopted and advanced these ideas that artillery began to take a significant form. One of the earliest recorded uses of cannons in Europe was during the 14th century, when they appeared in battlefields in the Hundred Years' War. These cannons were huge and unwieldy, requiring multiple men to operate them, and their accuracy was limited. Despite these challenges, artillery began to change the nature of warfare. The ability to breach castle walls and defenses altered military strategies forever, marking a turning point in siege warfare. The Chinese inventor, likely unknown by name but credited with these breakthroughs, may not have known the full extent of his discovery. However, his work inspired centuries of innovation, transforming the way battles would be fought for generations to come. The development of artillery truly began to take shape with key innovations over several centuries, each marking significant milestones in its evolution. Early artillery pieces, like the bombards of the 14th century, were massive and crude, requiring large crews to operate and lacking in mobility and accuracy. However, these early cannon designs laid the groundwork for future developments that would increase both their effectiveness and their role in warfare. The first major leap in artillery technology occurred during the 16th century, with the introduction of smoothbore cannon. These were essentially the large cannon-like weapons that you might think of when imagining old-fashioned artillery. While still bulky and requiring multiple men to operate, these cannons were capable of greater range than their predecessors. The basic design of a smoothbore cannon remained relatively unchanged, but the advancement of materials and construction methods helped to make these weapons more reliable and powerful. The first true field artillery came into play around this time, allowing for artillery to be moved closer to the front lines as opposed to being positioned far behind in the rear during battle. The 17th century brought yet another leap with the development of rifled barrels. This breakthrough increased the accuracy of artillery dramatically. By adding spiral grooves inside the barrel, projectiles could be spun as they were fired, stabilizing their flight path and ensuring a more predictable trajectory. This was the precursor to modern artillery. However, these early rifled cannons were still very limited in their capabilities compared to what we have today. However, rifled artillery became a key part of military forces during this period, and their role in artillery's development was critical, laying the groundwork for all future innovations. Moving into the 18th century, the Industrial Revolution sparked significant progress in artillery development. The new advances in iron and steel production allowed for stronger, more durable artillery pieces. This period saw the emergence of the breech-loading cannon, a crucial advancement that replaced the cumbersome muzzle-loading cannons that had been in use for centuries. A breech-loading cannon allowed for quicker loading times, and it greatly improved the rate of fire during battle. These improvements made artillery more effective in field combat, and they began to be deployed more widely across battlefields, influencing both offensive and defensive strategies. By the 19th century, artillery had become an integral part of warfare, especially during the Napoleonic Wars. Napoleon Bonaparte's tactics utilized the strength of artillery to break through enemy lines and create openings for infantry and cavalry to exploit. His artillery, particularly the French 12-pounder cannons, became some of the most feared and effective weapons on the battlefield. The accuracy and firepower of these weapons grew rapidly as advancements in gunpowder and manufacturing techniques were refined. The introduction of high explosive shells also played a pivotal role, allowing artillery pieces to cause destruction not just through direct impact, but by detonating shrapnel upon hitting targets, increasing their lethality. The World War I era marked another significant development. The war saw the introduction of howitzers, a type of artillery designed to fire shells at higher trajectories, which was particularly useful in trench warfare. The large-scale use of artillery during WW1 demonstrated its devastating power, with some artillery pieces, like the German Big Bertha, being capable of firing shells over 9 miles. This period also witnessed the rise of artillery units specifically designed for bombardment, with artillery batteries becoming pivotal in both offensive and defensive operations. The brutality and scale of artillery bombardments during WW1 drastically changed the nature of warfare, making artillery not just a support weapon, but a central element in military strategy. Following the war, further technological advancements continued throughout the 20th century. In World War II, artillery systems evolved to become even more mobile, with self-propelled artillery pieces that could be quickly repositioned on the battlefield. These vehicles were equipped with larger guns mounted on armored platforms, allowing for fast maneuvers and quick response times during combat. Additionally, advancements in the precision of artillery fire became a focal point. The development of the laser rangefinder and fire control systems in the late 20th century drastically increased the accuracy of artillery strikes, enabling forces to deliver pinpoint barrages with much greater efficiency. As artillery continued to evolve, the 1990s and 2000s ushered in a new era with the integration of smart technology and precision-guided munitions, PGMs. These modern artillery systems could now fire projectiles with incredible accuracy, hitting specific targets miles away. The combination of advanced targeting systems, GPS, and satellite communications made it possible to launch artillery strikes with unparalleled precision, reducing collateral damage and increasing overall effectiveness. Artillery systems like the M777 howitzer and the PZH-2000 became symbols of modern artillery's technological prowess. The development timeline of artillery, from its humble beginnings to the high-tech precision instruments used in contemporary warfare, reveals not only the relentless advancement in military technology, but also the adaptability and strategic importance that artillery continues to hold on the battlefield. As each new technological breakthrough built on the last, artillery transformed from a simple siege weapon into a highly specialized tool capable of shaping the outcomes of wars across the globe.
Throughout the history of artillery, there have been several surprising elements and turning points that have reshaped its role on the battlefield, often in ways that were unexpected. One of the most astonishing moments in artillery history occurred during World War I with the creation of the Paris gun, a massive artillery piece designed by the Germans. This gun, which could hit targets more than 80 miles away, was one of the earliest attempts at ultra-long-range artillery. Despite its power, the gun was impractical for most military operations due to its size, recoil, and difficulty in aiming, but it demonstrated a new possibility in artillery's potential range. Another significant turning point came during World War II with the development of self-propelled artillery. These mobile artillery platforms combine the power of large guns with the flexibility of vehicles, enabling artillery to move quickly across the battlefield, keeping up with advancing infantry and tanks. This innovation drastically increased the responsiveness and versatility of artillery, a major leap forward compared to the static nature of traditional field guns. A more recent, yet still surprising development was the advent of laser-guided artillery in the late 20th century. The ability to guide shells with lasers revolutionized artillery targeting, improving both accuracy and reducing the risk of collateral damage. These innovations revealed just how adaptable artillery could be, responding to the demands of modern warfare.
In the modern era, artillery has evolved dramatically, benefiting from advancements in technology and precision. Today's artillery systems are far more sophisticated than the massive cannons of the past. One of the most significant recent updates is the development of precision-guided munitions, PGMs, which allow artillery pieces to strike targets with unprecedented accuracy. This technology combines satellite positioning, advanced targeting systems, and GPS to ensure that shells land exactly where intended, drastically reducing collateral damage and increasing effectiveness on the battlefield. Modern artillery systems like the M777 howitzer and the PH-2000 are examples of how far artillery has come. These pieces are equipped with automated loading systems and computerized fire control units which streamline the firing process, allowing for faster reload times and more efficient operations. Some of these systems can even be integrated with drone technology, which allows artillery to engage targets based on real-time intelligence gathered by unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, enhancing their precision and speed. Looking to the future, artillery is expected to become even more advanced. The rise of directed energy weapons, such as lasers and microwave guns, could eventually replace traditional artillery. These weapons would offer near instantaneous strikes and virtually unlimited ammunition, as they rely on power rather than physical projectiles. With continued advancements in automation and artificial intelligence, future artillery could operate autonomously, making the weapon systems smarter and more adaptable to the changing nature of warfare.
As we look ahead, the future of artillery seems both exciting and uncertain. The continuous technological advancements suggest that artillery's role on the battlefield will evolve further, potentially becoming more autonomous and integrated with other military systems. The possibility of directed energy weapons, such as lasers, replacing traditional artillery is becoming more tangible. These weapons promise the ability to strike targets with unmatched speed and precision, fundamentally changing how artillery operates in future conflicts. Additionally, artillery systems may become even more robotic and autonomous, with AI playing a significant role in targeting, firing, and even battlefield decision-making. This could make artillery more efficient and reduce the need for human operators, while increasing its precision and responsiveness. So, what do you think the future holds for artillery? Will it embrace the rise of lasers and autonomous systems? Or will traditional artillery continue to play a vital role, adapted and enhanced by modern technology? Only time will tell.
What do you think about the future of artillery? Do you believe that the rise of autonomous systems and directed energy weapons will make traditional artillery obsolete? Or will we continue to see advancements in traditional artillery systems, combining old and new technologies? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the evolution of artillery, feel free to share this video with your friends and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We'll be exploring other military innovations in future videos, so stay tuned and watch more on our channel.